We're looking at verses 12 through 26 here. And if you can read the little headings in your Bible, you know, they always tell you what a chapter is about or a paragraph about. This is the doom of Sodom. Now, most of us know the story of Sodom. It's an entire city destroyed for their sin that was exceedingly great. God said that. We know why Sodom was destroyed, right? We know God warned Abraham. We know Abraham interceded to spare Sodom. Remember that wonderful bargaining thing he did with God? You know, how about if there's 100? How about if there's 50? How about if there's 25? How about if there's 10? God, just one? We know that only one man was considered righteous and was spared, and his name was Lot. After that, Sodom was destroyed. Now, you might be thinking, I'm going to cover the obvious with Sodom, right? Sodom and Gomorrah. No, I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to focus on something else. That's why I named this sermon Rapid Response. When you look at Sodom, yeah, you think, what is that story about? But really look into it. You'll see it's about quickly responding to God. We live in a very fast-paced world now. It used to be very laid back and easy, but now everything's going. We want rapid response. Do this. Do that. I want this now. It's got to be right now. We sit in a drive-thru for more than 10 minutes and we start to lose our mind. Because the fast food is not fast enough. Everything is fast, right? Except matters of religion. For some reason, we get, I'll get to it later. When it comes to the Bible, when it comes to God, when it comes to prayer, when it comes to faith, don't we say, I can do that tomorrow? Or after the game? Or after I get this chore done? Or after something with work? There's always something that we will go ahead and say, that doesn't have to be as quickly responded to. And I see you. I know you want some rapid response over there, don't you? Quick, respond to me. See? Everything's got to be quick. Right now. But when it comes to God, we love to wait. When God calls, we need to respond quickly. Just as fast as we do with anything else. Okay, I admit I'm selfish sometimes. I want something done now. And I look at my wife and my kids and go, now. They can do the same thing. They can go, I want this now. But when it comes to God, we need to be going, okay, God. We need to be moving quickly for Him. I am convinced that we are getting closer. We talked about this last week, right? We talked about getting closer to the end times. We talked about Revelation, what's happening in this world. I am getting convinced more and more. Saw something interesting on the news today where I was getting ready for church. Do you know how hurricanes are named? Tropical storms. They have 26 names that they use for tropical storms. It's one letter of the alphabet. So you'd have like Albert and Bart and Charlie and David. You have all these names, all the way through to Zach. I can't think of any other Z names. We've gone through all 26 already. And now we're into the Greek alphabet. And now we're at Gamma. Tropical storm Gamma. We've gone around the horn. And of course, people are going to be saying, look, this is global warming, climate change, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine, whatever. But what was one of the signs of the times? Extreme weather. Political vacuum. Unrest. People behaving immorally. We see this stuff. Weather's a good indicator. It's getting worse and worse. It's not because of global warming, it's because, about 2,000 years ago it was predicted. So we are getting closer and closer to the end times. That may not happen tomorrow. It may not happen 20 years from now. It may not happen 200 or 2,000 years from now. But understand something. We've had 2,000 years of this warning. And it's taken 2,000 years to check every single box out. I cannot find anything that we're really missing right now as a sign of the time. except for a peace in the Middle East, some accord that happens over there with the Antichrist. That's about the last thing we're missing. But we've hit everything else. This is the one time in history, this period in history, where we've checked off every single box. We are now officially on borrowed time. It can happen whenever now. So we need to be able, or we need to not be able, we need to, be able, we need to respond quickly to God when He calls. Because we don't know when the end is happening. Because things are so crazy right now, you don't know when your end is happening. So when God calls, respond. This is a simple gospel message, what we're going to read here today. It's a simple gospel message. Respond quickly when Christ calls. But it's also a message for the saved as well as the lost. If you're saved, we've talked about living out faith. So when God calls you to live out your faith, boom, you need to be going. We need to live out by responding to God. We can't afford to sit idle with the clock ticking. Saved, fine. Okay, you're good, I guess. You got in under the wire. What about other people? What about friends? What about family? What about neighbors? When God calls us to go, we need to talk to them. We need to go and talk to them. Because we don't know when the end is going to happen. And they could get left out of heaven. When we just lay back, content in the knowledge we're safe, we become spiritually lazy. We need to stop that. We need to respond. So let's go ahead and look at the scripture today. 12 through 26, again, is what we're looking at. Now, that's a lot of verses, so we're just going to take them one, at a time here. So let's start in verse 12. Then the two men said to Lot, "Whom else have you here? A son-in-law and your sons and your daughters, and whomever you have in the city, bring them out of this place. For we are about to destroy this place, because their outcry has become so great before the Lord that the Lord has sent us to destroy it." Lot went out and spoke to his son-in-law or sons-in-law, and who were to marry his daughters, and said, "Up, get out of this place, for the Lord will destroy the city." But he appeared to his sons-in-law to be jesting. Now this was the initial warning. Who were the two men? They were angels. Now, okay, were they angels? Were they spiritual beings? It doesn't matter. They were sent from God with a message. So it doesn't matter whether they're real angels, whether they're spiritual beings, whatever they were. They were sent from God to tell Lot, get up, get going, this place is due. What matters is that they were sent from God. And they are examples of a call from God. How to react to a call from God. And how we can call out to others in the name of God. In other words, in a rapid response situation, these men are examples of how we deal with God and deal with others. When God calls, you do not wait. We should respond immediately. Second is also responding to God, but dealing with other people. You go out to them. So when God calls, we respond to Him. When God calls us to others, we go to them. Stating the case for Christ directly and simply, without argument, and through godly action. This is what the angels did. They went to Lot's home. They met him where he lived. They stated their warning, their case for God directly, without an argument. No, this is what's going to happen. This is from God. Don't argue. And even went further to take Lot and his family by the hands. We'll see that. To motivate them to immediately heed God's call. Because sometimes we actually have to take action. We do it in a godly way. See, God calls us, we respond to Him. God says, "I want you to go minister." We respond to God. Now we go out to minister to people. We go out to them directly. Ministering, what does that mean? Going on missions? Going on evangelism? Or does it just mean talking to your neighbor? Talking to a friend or a family member that does not know Christ. That's heeding the call of God. Faith, obedience, and love, well, now put it into action. Respond to God and go do it. What warning can we take from this? What can we take away from this? Mankind is not going to have a utopia. We look at the world around us and we keep hearing from our world leaders, we can lead us into a better world. We've had 2,000 years or more to do this. Thousands. 2,000 just the time of Christ, the Roman Empire, right? But how many thousands of years before that to try and get a better world? And what have we done? We've broken this world time and time again. We can't do anything good. We can't make it better. We just royally mess everything up. Only Christ can do that. Only Christ is able to fix this broken world and the mess that we put ourselves into. Nothing we can do is going to matter. We have to look at God. We have to look at Christ. And Christ does. We talked about it last week. He's going to come down. He's going to wipe away all the evil of the world. He's going to set up the most perfect government. The government. But it's only Him that can do it. It's only through His power and His majesty will we have perfection and utopia. Not through our hands. That end is coming soon. And we need to spread that word. I know it sounds like grab your signs and go running around. The end is nigh. Armageddon out of here. All right, I'll stop with the bad ones. But that's what we do need. We need to go out. We need to preach that word. We need to minister to other people. We need to let them know this is Jesus Christ. And nothing that we do, no government on this planet is going to be able to take us into utopia. Only Christ can. And we know He's coming back. We don't know when, but He is coming back, and we need to place our faith into Him. That's the message we need to take to other people. You want utopia, you look at the cross. That's that bridge from broken to perfection. And you can only cross it on Jesus Christ. Look at verse 14 here. Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-laws, and they said, dude, oh, you're funny. You're funny, Lot. That's hilarious. Destroy Sodom. Yeah, when fire falls from heaven. Okay. Yeah, they were joking with him. We heed that call, but you know what? Some of humanity is not going to listen to us. They're just not. But we can go out and talk to others and preach that gospel and evangelize, and there's 100 ways or more to minister to others. But there is one simple truth. You can't save them all. You can go out and preach to people, and you ain't going to save them all there, Hasselhoff. Some are still going to drown in sin. But we need to go out there, and you know what? When we respond to God's call, like Lot, oh, I'm going out to my sons-in-laws. They laugh at me. All right, I gave you the truth. What you do with it, it's up to you. I'm going on to the next person. Lot tried. Lot tried. But people seem to get a little bit too comfortable in sin. A little bit too lazy in the world. You know what? Even believers do that. We get a little bit too lazy. We get a little bit too comfortable. And we don't want to heed a call from God. We went through John. You remember they said they were with us, but they weren't of us. And they left. They wouldn't have left if they were one of us. Believers. We can get lazy. We don't always do what we're supposed to. We don't always heed the Word of God. We start to get comfortable in a world of sin, and we lose our faith, and we lose sight of what's important. And we need to hear that call either from God or from somebody coming to us and saying, hey, Goober, God's telling you something. And go, okay, I'm waking up now. A lot goes out there. They ignore the warning signs right in front of them. They refuse the truth of the situation. It's either because they simply don't care, or they just don't care to respond. Too comfy and cozy. One of the worst excuses I hear from people that don't want to respond to God or respond to His call to go out and help people is when we say the end is nigh. Well, it hasn't come for 2,000 years, so I got time. When's it supposed to come? You never know what tomorrow brings. Let's just put it that way. Always be ready to respond. Look at verse 15 here. When morning dawned, the angels urged Lot, up, take your wife and your daughters who are here, or you will be swept away in the punishment of this city. But he hesitated, verse 16. But he hesitated, so the men seized his hand and the hand of his wife and the hands of his two daughters, for the compassion of the Lord was upon him, and they brought him out and put him outside the city. Second warning. He had one. Remember the night before. Two men said, get out. God's going to destroy it. How much more simple do you have to get? It wasn't a riddle. It wasn't a prophecy. God's going to destroy the city. How much more do you need? Well, he tried to save some people. Okay. But he spent all night doing it when people were laughing in his face, right? At what point do you go, it's on you now? I've got to let you go. Because I've got to take care of the people that want to hear the truth. And we need to get out of the city. But in the morning, when the morning dawned, so we had all night to go, I wonder who else I can try to save. I wonder what else I can do instead of running. This is how all bad movies start, isn't it? There's a warning and they don't do it, or they don't listen to it. Just listen to the warning. It'll be the shortest movie ever. Don't go down that alleyway. There's a storm approaching. Ooh, hear the sirens, and we respond quickly. The end. That's it. He waited until morning, this second morning here. They kept badgering, and the angels kept going, hey, let's go. Lot's family had been warned. They scoffed at it. Who knows who else he talked to? And they laughed at it. You don't continue banging your fist at a wall you can't break through. You put the notice on it and you say, I've done it and let's move along. I got to go to the next person who's going to listen. Up, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, or you will be swept away in the destruction of the city. I don't know how much more clear. But he hesitated. For the second time. Get out. So what do the angels have to do? So the men seized his hand, the hands of his wife, the hands of his daughters. They went, okay, let's go. We're going now. And took them out of the city. Because he hesitated twice. God called. And he stood there. So the angels had to lay hold of them. Now they didn't pick them up, throw them in a sack, carry them outside of the city. They didn't push them with spears, force them out. They laid hands and took them and led them. You know, sometimes we have to do that with people. I said, sometimes you can't keep banging on that wall, but maybe you can grab a couple of bricks from it. You know, you've got people out there that you can tell and go, that person is never going to listen to me. So I got to walk away and let God do something. But then you have somebody that you can see a little bit of movement on them, right? They're at least going to listen to you occasionally. You know, that guy's, oh, look at the time, got to go. But at least he's listening, right? We have people that are like that in our lives. Or maybe they keep coming up and asking you a question occasionally. Sometimes you have to take them by the hand and lead them. You can't save them, but you can go, let me take your hands and let me bring you around to here. Now you face that. I'm going to get you out of trouble and I'm going to bring you to safety. Sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes you just got to go, fine, you're laughing at me, I'm going to move to the next one. But then you'll see other people. You notice the angels did it in a loving way. Not yelling, not screaming, but gently took their hands and going, you ain't getting it, let's go. I will show you. Here, now get out. Sometimes you have to use that loving action. And those angels are that example of it. Sometimes we don't have time to mess around. Here's a Bible. Read it. Put that Bible in their hands. Be there as a friend and comfort them when they need it. Take their hand and lead them to safety. To get over that bridge. Get out of the world. Get out of sin. Better yet, you ain't listening. I love you. You're coming. And you know what? If they're true seekers of God, you can tell if they want to know, or at least get to know, because they'll go, okay, Thunder, let's go. They're not going to push you away. No, what are you doing? No, leave me alone. They'll go along with it. All right, let's go see the cross. This should be interesting. They do. But it's because of the way you're taking it. Yet a person could want to see Christ, but if you're yanking on them, like they're a dog on a chain, they ain't going to come with you. The angels showed that love, and they put them out of the city. Look at verse 17. When they had brought them outside, one of the men said, "Escape for your life." Oh boy, here we go. Escape for your life. Do not look behind you. Do not stay anywhere in the valley. Escape to the mountains, or you will be swept away. Verse 18 says, But Lot said to them, "Oh no, my lords. Now behold, your servant has found favor in your sight, and you have magnified your loving kindness, which you have shown me by saving my life. But I cannot escape to the mountains, for the disaster will surely overtake me, and I will die. Now behold, this town is near enough to flee to, and it is small. Please let me escape there. Is it not small, that my life may be saved?" He said to him, "Behold, I grant you this request also, not to overthrow the town of which you have spoken. Hurry, escape, therefore. I cannot do anything until you arrive." Therefore, the name of the town was called Zoar. Long couple of verses there to go. Escape. Third time. Now flee. You know what? We're destroying the city, but you know what? God's pretty precise, but he's going to destroy the entire area. All right? God's better than a smart bomb, okay? You can drop down a meteor down a chimney and hit the bad guy and not cause any other damage. But he's going to destroy this entire area. He's got to wipe the sin out. Flee from this area. Don't look back. Don't stay anywhere near here. Get out. Flee to the mountains. What does Lot do again? But Lot said, I'm too old. I can't get up those mountains. What do you... I can't do it. But you know what? Downhill, there's a little town down here. Oh, yeah, I can go downhill. Downhill's easy. If you guys could just spare that town for me. I know it's in the big destruction plan, but, you know, if you can carve that area out, I can get downhill real easy. That's fine. I can do that. Show me that favor. You've already saved my life. Can you do me one more? What do the angels do? That loving kindness. I think he says, "You show me loving kindness." And the angels are probably doing this. They're probably going, "Okay, Lord, here's the deal. We won't destroy it. Just go. Don't look back. Stay out of the area. We'll not destroy that. Just please do what we tell you and go." I can just imagine those angels doing that. But they're doing it in a loving kindness way, rubbing their temples, going, "I love you. God, help me, I love you. Go." Still helping them out. Still showing that loving kindness. Same kind of loving kindness we're going to have with people that don't want to listen to God, but we keep, okay, all right. What else can I do? What else can I do because I love you? Not because I have to, not because it's a pain to me, because I love you, and I want you to be saved, and I want you to be in heaven with me. I want us both to cross that bridge together. What else can I do? What else can we do? But here's the thing we got to remember from Lot's perspective. I can't get up that mountain. I'm too old. I don't have the resources. I'm not that bright. I'm not that eloquent. I don't have the knowledge. How many excuses are we going to have to not get up that mountain when God calls us to go up that mountain? Let me tell you something simple about God. He will never tell you, go there, and let you figure it out and leave you to your own devices. Ever. There has never been a time where God has said, go over there, climb that mountain. He knows what you are capable of, and He wouldn't tell you to do it just to see you fail. He told Abraham, leave your country, leave everything behind, and go out there, and I'll make you a nation. And Abraham went, okay. Because he understood God is going to give him the resources and the capability to do it. I'm too old. I'm in my 60s. How can I go mission to someplace? God's going to do it. How can I go build a church somewhere? I don't have the resources. God's going to give them to you. God does not set you up for failure. If He says, I want you to go through the woods, across the alligator-filled moat, up that mountain, down along the stream, and then I want you to plant a church on a cliffside with no roads, He will get you through it and He'll fill that church up. Because He said, you are going to go do what I tell you to do. This is not about failing. I'm not going to set you up to fail. I'm going to give you everything. So Lot could have made to the mountains. Because God would, He said, go to the mountains. Lot would have made it. Sometimes we don't think that we can do something. When I was in the military, we had to do PT. You got to do your 1.5 miles, 2 miles, whatever it is that we have to do. They've changed it over the last couple of years. But you got to do so many miles in so much time. I'm thinking, when I first started, there is no way I can do this. I can't do 2 miles in under 10 minutes. That's impossible. I think the best I ever did was 15 minutes. But I did it. And they go, yeah, but what if some guy was chasing you with a sword in the Middle East and was going to cut off your head? You can't do 2 miles in this amount of time. No, let me tell you something. Somebody's chasing me and wanting to cut off my head, I will do 10 miles in under 4 minutes because I'm getting away from it. It's going to happen. It's amazing what our body can do. It's amazing what we can do because God created us. It's amazing that baby can keep laughing for this long. But we do. Because God created us that way, and He gives us an abundance of resources or an abundance of joy just staring off at something. God gives us what we need. If God says go and do it, you can be guaranteed you can do it. Period. Let's look at the last few verses here. Verse 23. The sun had risen over the earth when Lot came to Zoar. Then the Lord rained down on Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And He overthrew these cities and all the valley and all the inhabitants of the cities and what grew on the ground. But Lot's wife from behind him looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. What can we take from those verses? Be careful calling yourself salt of the earth because you might become that. I know I said enough jokes. Didn't God say run, flee? What else did He say? Don't look back. I bet this is where we get every horror movie cliche. Don't look back. Don't look up. Keep running. Why are you worried about what I'm doing? I called you to go do something. Don't do it. Don't be worried about what's past back here. Because what we want to do is we want to look back at what was cozy. And if we keep looking back at our past, that cozy, simple lifestyle, you know what? We're going to be like, yeah, that looks nice. And we're going to start running back to it. We're not going to keep sprinting. What does Paul say? Run the race to win. That direction. To the mountain. To where God wants us to go. Run it like you mean it. And don't look back. I did track in middle school, and I would continually do this to see how close my opponents were to me, the other racers. And when you turn your head, all of a sudden you slow down for some reason. I don't know if this is like a break or something, but when you look back, you start to slow down because you're not focusing on running there. You're trying to see where everybody else is. And you slow up, and that's when people would go past me. So that'll tell you what my record was running races. Not very good. I had a nickname, it was called Ofer. But when we look back, we start to slow up. We're not looking at our destination anymore. We want to look back. And every time we do, like Lot's wife, we face destruction. Our own. Because we're not heeding that call to God and doing what He says and keep going. We want to go, I'm curious. And then some deer is going to come and use you as a salt lick. That's what's going to happen. Every single time. When we look back, we destroy ourselves. Because God says this is not important. That's important. I know I keep pointing this way, there's a cross here. That's important. But the past isn't. We're supposed to be looking forward. God's calling us. He calls us every day. He calls the lost to Him. Hey, I'm going to destroy the world. You better be coming to me. Flee across that safety bridge. Come to me. Get out of sin. He says that to lost people all the time. They don't like to listen to him. So what's He do for us? Hey, Christians, go get them. Get up and go to the mountain. Go grab those people. On your way to them, I want you to pick people up and take them with you. I want you to go talk to them. Yeah, they're going to laugh at you. They're going to make fun of you. They're going to belittle you. They're going to persecute you. Some of you guys may not actually make it to the mountain because of them. Some parts of the world, they don't make it. They make it across the bridge. They lose their lives for God. But yet they still heed it and go and talk to people. Some of them may not listen. Some of them, you can tell, maybe they want to. So you gently pick them up and help them up and bring them with you. And if they are curious, they're going to follow along. Okay, let's go. And never look back. When we're moving forward, God calls us. Rapid response, people. Quickly, quickly, quickly. Let's move. Teresa, you know rapid response. You can't hold up, can you? Hey, there's somebody dying. Yeah. Mike, you're in the army. Get your gun and go kill the bad guys. Those bullets can wait. With Christianity, it's the same way. Somebody needs us. God's saying, go get them. Wake up. Be fast. There is no more clear example of what looking back does in our lives to the past. We want to stay cozy, uncomfortable, and in sin. Don't look back. Remember Lot's wife. She looked back. God says, go forward. We are told to respond, to flee, to escape. Go where God tells us to go. We don't second guess. We don't give that longing look back at what was, the easy, lazy life of sin. We are to look forward to God, His promises, His assurances. Rapid response, moving quickly. Warn others, escape and flee. There is something better ahead of you if you just keep moving. So respond quickly to God, to the needs of others, and keep looking until you reach that mark, until you get across.